What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Teddy. It's Teddy. It's Teddy. 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 It's Teddy. 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 T-E-D-D-Y. T-E-D-D-Y. T-E-D-D-D-D-D-D-D. Why it's Teddy? I'm sorry I missed the video on Monday, you guys, but I was really sick. I apologize, but here we are today with some more reading in Bulgarian from my favorite childhood book. My mom used to read a lot of stories to me when I would go to bed, and this book is the one, y'all. I have the whole collection of these books, but for some reason the Middle Eastern version, the Middle Eastern edition stories was my favorite one. I loved the drawings in this book and in all of the editions, but you know, I really like the way the faces were drawn, the detailing. You can tell this was used by the conditions. And obviously this is Aladdin, but there's some drawings in here from when I was a little baby, dude. A little baby. Look at this Easter. There's the sun in the corner. What up? And some transparent tracing paper. But I would really love to go on about this book a lot because the images are so beautiful. But I will be reading today only one story, and it is 𝓸𝓵𝓵𝓸𝓻𝓶. 𝓸𝓵𝓵𝓸𝓻𝓶. I would try to show you the images and try to translate as I go because it's a long story. It's a long story, okay? But let's begin. Let us begin. 𝓸𝓵𝓵𝓸𝓻𝓶, which is the crying princess. The crying princess. Живял някога един много алчен император и народът и вазалите му плащали тежки претежки данъци. Не стигало това, ами след време измислил нови непосилни налози. На принцовете им дошло до гуша да плащат прищевки на императора. Събрали се един ден и решили да се опълчат срещу него. Щом разбрал какво са намислили, императора се оплашил и бързо издал указ, с която смятал, че ще сложи край на недоволството. So one day there was an emperor who was taxing the people a lot. All of the princes, like the men, finally all stood together and were like, we're not doing this anymore, you're taxing us too much. The emperor got scared and figured, okay, I'm gonna give you a deal so we can solve this. Let's hear what the deal is. Негово императорство величество ще опрости всички данъци на онзи принц, който успее да удържи най-голямата му дъщеря Сара. След смъртта на своя годеник принцесата плаче неспирно и безутешно. His Emperor Majesty will forgive any taxes to the person who manages to cheer up his dear daughter, the princess, who has been crying after her husband passed away. It's not even husband, it's like fiance. а принцесата продължавала да рони бисерни сълзи. There were Indians, Turks, Arabs. Everyone came in from all over, but no one could manage to make her stop crying even. Not just smile. Императорът се чувствал на върха на щастието. Всяко следващо поражение му осигурявало безработното плащане на данъците и налозите. Народът също бил доволен, като виждал, че и богатите не винаги успяват да постигнат всичко, което пожелават. The emperor was happy, seeing as another person, one after the other, they would go by and they would still have to pay taxes because they didn't succeed. And the peasants were also happy because that meant that they never had a chance to begin with, but they saw that just because you were wealthy and the prince also didn't exactly guarantee that you were gonna get your taxes forgiven either, because this lady was just not. She was just crying, dude, crying. This is probably my favorite image in the book. The princess crying. I always wanted her get up like the hat. I thought it was so beautiful. Yes. Само Сара плачела ли плачела, веднъж един монголски принц, който че за малко разтушил принцесата с песента си. Първо тъжна, а после все по-весела. Излегната на дивана, принцесата се втренчила задълго в певеца и тъкмо царедворците понечели да се зарадват на чудото, но в пристъп на отчаяние я накарал да се разплаче неудържимо. Друг един кюрдски военачалник, известен с астрономито си навлет в империята, не успял дори да привлече вниманието на девойката върху себе си. От Персия също пристигнали принцовете. Нямало го само Омар, владетелят на най-малката и най-отдалечената провинция. So the only person who managed to even grab her attention for a little bit, she stopped crying for a second, was a Mongolian leader of an army. After he was like singing a happy song and then a sad song, just as the palace helpers were about to, congratulate him, she started crying all over again, bursting into tears. And again, people all over the place started coming. The only one who hadn't come was Omar from the furthest army, 𝓸𝓽𝓱𝓮𝓻. Той бил доказал качествата си след смъртта на своя чичо, когато алчните роднини направили неуспешен опит да го лишат от наследство. He was smart, and his family tried to get his inheritance after his uncle died, but he got it. Омар живял толкова далече, че императорския указ пристигнал при него след месеци. He lived so far away that the news about the princess came to him months after, it was spread. Щом чул думите на кошата, младежът се метнал на коня и препуснал към столицата. Пътуването било дълго и уморително. Славният му черен жребец го опирал дни наред, докато най-накрая една вечер пристигнал пред портите на двореца. He galloped for days and days on end. As soon as he heard the word, he was on the horse. Всички принцове от империята вече са били изредили, като видели запъхтения потънал в прах пътник. Пасачите се подсмихнали подигравателно, ала го пуснали да влезе и го отвели в крилото за нощуване. He arrived sweaty and dusty, and people in the palace started laughing at him, making fun of him, but still welcomed him and let him rest in the palace. Императорските щерки бързо научили за новодошлия. По-красив от него досега не е идвал в двореца, съобщила тази, която успяла да го зърне. The emperor's many daughters heard the news that he arrived, and one who saw his face said that no one as beautiful as him has stepped foot into the palace. Okay, I'm not gonna show you the next image because this is the climax of the story. It's the spoiler, the big spoiler, the big plot twist rather of this story, which is why I love this story so much. Okay, here we go. Предвождани от Марика, най-малката и най-палавата, всичките се изредили да го погледнат с Кришун. През едно Ваше Величество, ще бъдете ли така любезен да ми подадете жезъла си? Omar like bowed down to her and then stood up, and they faced each other for a long time without saying a word, and they just kind of stared at each other. She's still crying. Everyone's wondering, he's the last one, like what is this prince going to do? What is going to happen? Is he going to make her stop crying? So after staring at her for a little bit, he turns to the emperor and he's like, Your Majesty, can I borrow your scepter? Странната молба изненадала императора, но той не могъл да откаже и от любопитство тръгнал заедно с младеж към покоите на Сара. Другите принцеси също го последвали, защото принцът много им харесал. So the emperor was curious, so he gave him the scepter, and they all followed, all the daughters as well, because they were curious and, they all liked him. Омар направил дълбок поклон пред Сара, а щом се изправил, замахнал с императорския жезъл и го стоварил върху главата на принцесата. Once again, Omar bowed down, and as soon as he got up, he whacked the princess across the head with all his might. Стаята се изпълнила с ужаси, викове и писъци. Разяреният император вдигнал ръце към небето, за да прокълне злосторника. Принцесите се разбягали, а стражата прелетяла с изтеглени саби. The emperor threw hands in the air, about to curse out, the Omar, and all the guards took out their swords. All the princesses running away. Изведнъж всички замръзнали по местата си от разбитата глава на Сара, започнали да изкачат пружинки и други части от някакво странно устройство. All of a sudden, everyone froze as these little tiny wires and bolts started coming out of Sarah's head. Защото Сара, плачещата принцеса, била кукла. Because Sarah, crying princess, turns out to be a doll. Here she is smacking her on the head, just about to. Violence, yay. Here she is. With the cogs and the wires, she is actually a doll. A mechanical doll. I love how, by the way, one of the daughters is laughing. Look at her, she's like, this is so funny, oh my god. And the emperor looks like he's almost, not really about to yell. He's like, finally, someone. Да, кукла. Yes, a doll. При това била толкова майсторски направена, че успяла да заблуди всички. Само не хитрия Омар. In fact, she was so well made that she managed to fool everyone except for Omar. Най-малката принцеса Марика се превивала от смях и не можела да спре. Император я погледнал строго и повикнал сърдито. Я стига! Also, I guess they didn't know. The emperor didn't know. But the youngest princess, Marika, she started laughing her head off. So that's the one I told you about because, no one realized. And the emperor got mad and he was like, will you stop it? Stop laughing. Но се спрял насред думата, защото се сетил, че всичко това наистина е много смешно. But stopped laughing, or stopped telling her to stop, because he thought actually she's right, everything was very funny. Куклата надминала най-смелите му очаквания даваш ми най-малката, ала тя е най-хубавата и най-умната. Един ден, драги ми тъстие, ние двамата ще те наследим. Tells him the news, you know, you're forgiven all your taxes and I'm giving you my youngest daughter. And he's like, you're giving me your youngest one, but she is the smartest and most beautiful one. And one day we will inherit what you own. Така е станало, and that's what happened. Не след дълго Омар и Марика се възкачили на императорския престол